Good morning, students. In the previous video, we learned that the East India Company started to expand the rule. The officials adopted different strategies, like appointing residents in Indian states who interfere internal matter. In these strategies, there were different types of policies. For example, subsidiary alliance was one of the most important policies used by the Britishers. Who invented the policy of subsidiary alliance? See the image. It is of Lord Wellesley. Lord Wellesley was the person who institutionalized the policy of subsidiary alliance. Here the meaning of institutionalize means establish as a convention or norm in an organization or culture. What is meant by subsidiary alliance? It was a system developed by the East India Company. Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed forces. Means Indian rulers couldn't keep their own army. If they are not allowed to keep their own army, then how they will fight if anyone attack on them? How they will save themselves? They questioned to the Britishers. The company said rulers had to pay for the subsidiary alliance. If the Indian rulers failed to make payment, then part of their territory was taken as penalty. For example, Nawab of Awadh was forced to give over half of his territory to the company in 1801. And when the Nizam of Hyderabad also failed to pay after signing subsidiary alliance, he was forced to give his territory. By this, we can understand how cunning, how cruel they were. The company deceived Indian rulers by their policies and strategies. To expand the rule, were there only policies, strategies? To protect its interest, sometimes the company used direct military confrontation. It means they fought against each other directly. At times, company used direct military confrontation to protect its political or economic interests. To capture other Indian states, they use military confrontation. Students, can you guess whose picture is this? Yes, it is the picture of Tipu Sultan, the tiger of Mysore. Mysore had powerful rulers like Tipu Sultan and also his father Hyder Ali. Southwest coast is known as Malabar coast. Mysore controlled the profitable trade of Malabar coast. Trade of paper, cardamom, import and export of all these things were carried on. But the tiger of Mysore, Tipu Sultan, stopped the export, and the company disliked this. In 1785, why Tipu Sultan stopped the export of sandalwood, paper, cardamom through the ports of his kingdom and disallowed local merchants from trading with the company? There was a reason. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan had a good relationship with French East India Company. Means France and these two rulers of Mysore had a good relationship. At that time, France and Britain had fights with each other, and Hyder Ali also once had fight with Britishers. Tipu Sultan understood they should not give concession to Britishers, and the conflict arose between these rulers and the company. The company saw Hyder and Tipu as ambitious, arrogant, and dangerous. And according to the company, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan should be controlled and crushed by the company. Four wars fought with Mysore. The company forces were defeated by Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan in several battles. The fourth battle was the Battle of Seringapatam. The Britishers ultimately got a victory in this battle. Let's discuss what happened after this battle. Before Hyder Ali, who was ruling the kingdom? Wodeyars were ruling the kingdom. Wodeyars was one of the dynasties. After Tipu Sultan, again Wodeyars came back to rule. Marathas and Nizams were also participated in this battle because Britishers promised to give them some territory. After the death of Tipu Sultan in this battle, Britishers completed their promise. They gave territory to the Marathas and Nizams and finally made them puppet rulers. Students, for this image, you can refer the textbook page number 17 of your history textbook. This figure shows an European soldier and a tiger. This is the picture of a big mechanical toy. Tipu Sultan wanted to tell by this toy that Mysore's have tigers. They will attack on Europeans. When you will move the handle, tiger roar and soldiers start moving body. After the death of Tipu Sultan on 4th May 1799, the mechanical toy tiger was kept in London. After the Battle of Plassey, Mysore, now the Britishers turned to Maratha Empire. So, we are going to discuss war with the Marathas. But before turning to this point, let us learn something about Maratha Empire. The Indian history changed after the third battle of Panipat. Why? Because before this battle of Panipat, Marathas were powerful ruler. Students, you can also see the movie Panipat to understand this. Marathas thought if they will win Battle of Panipat, they will capture Delhi and Britishers will run away. But this dream of Marathas failed. They were defeated in 1761. Marathas were divided into many states under different chiefs. Every part had leader known as Sardars. Means those chiefs were known as Sardars. For example, Gwalior was under Scindias, Indore was under Holkar, Baroda was under Gaikwad, and Nagpur was under Bhosles. Marathas were not defeated in the single war. The company subdued Marathas in a series of wars. In all three Anglo-Marathas war, Marathas were defeated by the company. In the first Anglo-Maratha war, we couldn't see clear victory of British. Treaty of Salbai was signed. Means outcome of first war was treaty was signed that for 20 years no fight between them. Then British proved to be successful in the second Anglo-Maratha war. British gained the territories of Orissa, Agra and Delhi. Then in the third Anglo-Maratha war between 1812 to 1819, the Maratha powers were crushed totally. The Peshwas, the principal ministers, was removed to Bithur in Kanpur, with a pension. After subsidiary alliance, let us discuss one more policy of Britishers that they used to expand their territories. That is the claim to paramountcy. It means the company claimed that its authority is supreme or paramount and its power was greater than Indian states. So they thought in order to protect their trade interests, it is right to threaten Indian kingdom. This is the image of Lord Hastings. Students, for this image you can refer the textbook page number 18. He was the Governor General from 1813 to 1823. Lord Hastings initiated the policy, the claim to paramountcy. This policy continued in the process of British expansion and it was challenged by Indians. And one of them was Rani Chennamma. Rani Chennamma was the queen of a small kingdom Kittur of Karnataka. When the kingdom Kittur was annexed by Britishers, she took arms and led an anti-British resistance movement. She was arrested in 1824 and died in prison in 1819. But after her death, resistance movement was continued. The Rayanna, a poor chowkidar of Sangoli in Kittur, carried on the resistance movement. And he was caught and hanged by the British in 1830s. At the same time, the Russian Empire was expanding by Russian kings, Russian rulers. In late 1830s, British worried that they would enter by northwest side of India. So British wanted to secure their control over northwest side of India. Therefore, they continued long war with Afghanistan between 1838 and 1842. Then Sindh, a state in Pakistan, was taken over in 1843. Next was Punjab. It was not so easy to win over Punjab. But why it was not easy to win Punjab? Because of the powerful ruler of Punjab, Maratha Ranjit Singh. But after his death in 1839, there were weak successors and British annexed Punjab. Like the direct military confrontation, subsidiary alliance, the claim to paramountcy, one more important policy was there, through which they captured Indian kingdom. And that policy was the doctrine of lapse. Who institutionalized this policy? Lord Dalhousie institutionalized this policy. He was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. With this policy, British government annexed many Indian states. According to this policy, the doctrine declared that if an Indian ruler died without a natural male heir, H-E-I-R, heir means ruler's children, ruler's own sons. If the king will not have his own son, his kingdom would lapse. It will become part of the company territory. With this policy, many Indian kingdoms were annexed. For example, Satara in 1848, Sambalpur in 1850, Udaipur in 1852, Nagpur in 1853, and Jhansi in 1854. Then Awadh was also annexed by the Britishers. But why? Because they thought the people of Awadh, the Nawabs, not governing Awadh properly. Therefore, the people of Awadh joined the Great Revolt that broke out in 1857. Now, students open the textbook page number 20 to understand the expansion of British territorial power in India with the help of given maps. Figure 14a shows the British expansion under the British rule. When the company came for trade, how they expanded the rule. The yellow color shaded part shows areas under British rule like Benares, Calcutta, Madras. Now see figure B carefully. You can compare the given map with the figure A. Not only Banaras, Calcutta, but some other parts of Indian kingdoms were also annexed by the Britishers like Goa, Bombay, Lucknow, Delhi. Now, students observe figure 14c carefully and compare it with figure A and B. You will understand most of the part of the Indian states were captured by the Britishers in 1857. Students, hope you have understood today's topic. Review the video repeatedly to understand it better and also read the lesson carefully at least 2 to 3 times. Really, it's very interesting chapter. You will love to read it. In the next video, we will learn about setting up a new administration and will complete the chapter and will discuss the questions and answers of the same lesson. Thank you.